Hey guys, Danny here, just bringing you guys another video. Today's video is going to really cover mostly things about warrior PvP, and it's not a guide in any way to teach people how to play a warrior or anything like that. It's just how I play my warrior, gemming, reforging, talent tree, spec, things like that, just to help. You know, it could be anyone. You could have dinged your warrior, got him in all blues, contender gear and stuff, and looking to do either some fun BGs or play some arena with your warrior. So it's just an overview on how I play my warrior, and hopefully this can help some other people out there. So the first thing I'm gonna cover is the gemming side of things. Currently in this season at the moment, we're getting close to the end of the season, about 2 weeks left. Patch 5.2 is pretty much around the corner. A lot of DPS you'll see are heavy defensive, you know. As you can see, I gem mostly all resilience, 320 resilience. I've not really bothered much with the socket bonuses. If I can get them, I will. If not, I've gemmed mostly heavy 320 resilience. It's fun to play with PvP power, you know, if you're doing some battlegrounds and want to see some huge numbers and things like that. But for high-end arena and top-end PvP, it's not really the way forward. It's more being as defensive as you can, but at the same time pushing out some damage. Being a warrior, you're not one really to sit back. You're more of, you know, getting into the middle of the action, doing damage and taking a lot of damage, but being able to sustain that damage with the high resilience. So the gemming side of things, it's really about resilience this season, and I'm pretty sure it's most probably going to be the same in the next season, including that sitting in defensive stance, which this season gives us the 25% reduction in damage, and stacking the resilience it's pretty strong, pretty overpowered, but hey, it's getting changed next patch. So that's the gemming side of things. The reforging side of things, it's you want to be hit and expertise capped for level 90, so you don't dodge, parry, miss things. That's pretty vital. The cap for expertise is 6%, and the hit cap is 3%, so I'm slightly over on the hit and under on the expertise there, but it's not a huge difference to be that off. And then after that, it's still the same thing for a warrior. Crit is our favourite buddy, so you want to reforge as much as you can into crit, and then into mastery. Those are the main stats that we focus on as a warrior. Crit gives us enrage allows us to hit harder, so forth. So the more crit you have, the better it is. So there's not much more in reforging. It's just get your hit cap to 3%, get your expertise cap to 6%, and then wherever you can, reforge into crit, and wherever you can't, try reforging into mastery. As you see, my PvP resilience is 67% and PvP power is 54%. Some might say that's low PvP power, but you still do a really good amount of damage. As myself, I have all the top of the top gear, the elite gear and stuff, so the damage output is pretty great, and everything, most of the stuff being upgraded, it's pretty good. So that's the reforging side of it covered. the talent tree. The first talent tree is the charge talent tree. You can play either, they're all as good as each other. Juggernaut, charge every 12 seconds instead of 20. Double time if you really want to ping pong around an arena, or just have more movement and being able to charge twice in 20 seconds. I prefer playing with Warbringer at the moment. 3 second stun followed up by like a shockwave. It's good for offensive and defensive peeling, so it's really personal preference what you go for. The second one's really a no-brainer. Second wind. Whenever you're below 35%, you regenerate 3% health per second, which is pretty good. Well, it's really good at the moment. The next one, again, it's really personal preference. If you're playing against caster classes, right, then you're going for a healer or something, or you want to play with disrupting shout. I tend to go with the root with the staggering shout on a lot of fights. Again, it's good for peeling. It's good for sustained damage because you can root targets and, you know, do damage while you're there. The next one, it's shockwave. Again, really good ability for not so much damage, but more for offensive pressure and again, defensive peeling. If your healer's in trouble, you know, you need to switch to the DPS and shockwave him, give your healer a couple of seconds to get himself back together and carry on from there. The next talent tree, 9 out of 10 people always go for safeguard. You know, gets you out of roots. It's good as a defensive as well. You safeguard someone, reduces damage taken by 20% for 6 seconds. So a lot of people go with that. The last tree, Avatar, is probably most people's favourite. If you're in roots and snares, you can get out of them using Avatar. It does do a lot of damage. Its increased damage is 20%, so stacking out with like a Trinket, Recklessness, Skull Banner, it's a really fun ability and a lot of pressure you can put out. Some people play with Bloodbath. It's a personal choice there. For a stun CC, you have Stormbolt. Maybe in patch 5.2 things might change slightly. People might play with a bit more Stormbolt with the nerf to Shockwave. I'll get to the changes of patch 5.2 just in a little while. So those are really the choices. I mostly go with Avatar. Keep some pressure up and line some CDs and do some good damage. Glyphs here we have. Glyph from Death of Above. Reduce the cooldown of Heroic Leap by 15 seconds and increases damage by 100%. It's a good one because it gives you more maneuverability and stuff. So, you know, if you need to be a bit more defensive and loss a DPS or kite someone around, you know, you can Heroic Leap, or if you want to reach a DPS that, you know, is kiting you, you have more maneuverability. If your charge is on cooldown, you have Leap. The second one I go with is Glyph of Hindering Strikes. Because I don't use Piercing Cowl for the slow, I use the Glyph. Your Heroic Strike and Cleave reduce the target's movement speed by 50% for 8 seconds. So that's a pretty good one. The next one, I use Glyph of Long Charge. Increases your charge, increases the range of your charge by 5 yards. So it's pretty good to have a longer charge distance. Some people, I sometimes play with Glyph of Colossal Smash. Applies a Sunder Armor effect to your target, just a little bit more damage increase. You can also play with Rude Interruption if you're playing casters. Successfully interrupting a spell with pummel increases your damage by 6% for 20 seconds. Not great damage increase, but it's pretty good. You know, your pummel's on a 15-second cooldown, so you can successfully interrupt spells. You can keep that stacked up nicely, the 6% damage quite often. The other glyphs are really cosmetic. Glyph of Blazing Trail, Glyph of Thunderstrike, and Glyph of Bloody Heal. Those are personal choices, personal preferences. The spec, which a lot of you, if not most everyone knows, is arms for PvP, mostly for arena and stuff. I'm probably going to test out Fury just for fun, get my second tier 2 two-hander and make some nice damage videos, but sustained damage and consistency is really arms, and it's been like that for quite some time, and I'm sure it will stay like that for a pretty long time. So those are really the abilities, the spec, the talents, the glyphs, the reforging that people would need really to play pretty decent. Next I'll just go over a basic rotation. It's not really rotation, but priority in the abilities that we would use for people who've not played a warrior before, or want to learn more about putting out some pressure, some damage. So I'll just go over that and cover those things now. So here we're at target dummy. As a warrior, it's really just about keeping the pressure up with your damage, you know, timing your abilities well, your cooldowns and stuff, peeling when you need to. The basic fundamental rotation of warriors is really, you know, you wanna use Mortal Strike on cooldown. Colossal Smash, I would always recommend using some sort of an add-on or something if you can to track your Colossal Smash. So with the sudden death proc where it can reset, you don't want to clip it, and you know, that's just really damage loss doing that. So just get some sort of an add-on. I use an add-on called Tell Me When. Very easy to set up. Apart from that, so yeah, Mortal Strike on cooldown. You use Colossal Smash when it's up. Overpower. Use Slam when other things are on cooldown, and you have Heroic Strike there. You can time your Heroic Strike with your Deadly Calm, which reduces the rage cost of it by 10. But you mainly want to keep your major abilities like Colossal Smash, Mortal Strike, Slam, these things, or Colossal Smash and Mortal Strike on cooldown. Use Overpower as it procs. Slam does pretty decent damage, and if you have excess rage, or you're using Deadly Calm for example, and you have the sufficient amount of rage, you can Heroic Strike in between. I usually just apply a Heroic Strike and use it when I need to apply the slow effect to the target. Time your CDs well if you can. Use Shockwave wisely. If you're going to use it offensively, use it on your target. You know, I usually charge, it's a 3-second stun, then Shockwave, you stun them for 4 seconds, you can get some pressure out, then I root the target, that's another 4 to 5 seconds. So, you know, you've got them under pressure more or less instantly there, because, you know, they're within your reach, you're doing some decent damage, and you can set out some good pressure there. You got a I use a one-shot macro as well for burst, which is Recklessness, Avatar, Skull Banner, my Use Trinket, and Deadly Calm all as one. So just Mortal Strike, pop everything with Shockwave, Colossal Smash, and then I can spam Heroic Strikes here because I have significant amount of rage there. So you know, as you can see, some really big numbers. That's an 85 dummy. I'm sure you get the concept behind it. So yeah, it's just really about timing your cooldowns, using them well, being defensive when you can, and peeling when you really need to. The damage will always be there. 5.2 is around the corner. I'm sure a lot of people have read the changes and stuff. You know, Shockwave's going to get a nerf to 40 seconds. We have Deadly Calm, which is going to be removed from the game. So there's a few bits and pieces changing, but the overall fundamental of Warriors is still going to be the same. You know, it's still going to be the same kind of situation as we're in now. We'll still do good damage. You know, the stat priority and stuff is going to be the same. There's not going to be much changing. So yeah, if you're setting out to start a Warrior off or start playing one, hope you enjoy it. If you're already playing one and this guide helped in any way, thumbs up, likes, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks very much. Peace.